Training camp is here and pressure is already building. With expectations sky high and the Super Bowl on everyone's mind, some veterans are going to have to step up in a big way or risk being left behind. So, here's the question. Which veteran players on this Chargers squad are under the most pressure heading into 2025? I'd really love to hear your thoughts on this topic in the comment section, but for now, I'm going to share 4 players who I believe are under the most pressure heading into 2025. Let's dive into it. What's up, Chargers fans? Welcome to the NFL Playbook Chargers. First off, I just want to thank everyone for the continued love and support. If you haven't already, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. There's no doubt this team has some seriously talented players. There's a ton of depth overall, but if we want to reach and win the Super Bowl, there are some key individuals who need to elevate their game and firmly establish themselves on this roster to help bring home that coveted Lombardi trophy. Before we get into the list, I wanted to quickly touch on something we haven't discussed much: the new uniforms. All Navy? I'm all in. I remember the last game, the Chargers wore an all-Navy kit. It was when they were still in San Diego, during those wildfires around 2001 or 2002, when the game was relocated to Arizona. Full Navy, top to bottom. Best look we've had. Absolutely love it. Now, as for the next uniform, I'm not totally sold on the all-yellow. It's a little too bright for my personal taste, but maybe it'll come off better once we see it in action on the field. Okay, now going back to those veterans under the most pressure this year, let's be real. It starts with the man under center, our leader, Justin Herbert. In my eyes, Herbert is under the most pressure to make this offense run efficiently. Last year, he didn't have a lot to work with. The offensive weapons were limited. The run game was hit or miss. Injuries played a big role, and the offensive line struggled late in the season. Receivers weren't exactly consistent help either. But now, I'm putting some weight on Herbert's shoulders. He has more weapons than ever: Quentin Johnston and Ladd McConkey. Yes, the Chargers faced a major setback when all of a sudden Mike Williams announced his retirement. The Chargers bring him in for the support of Herbert, and now he is left alone. But we have good news as well. Trey Harris, who was on holdout, finally agreed to a contract. Now, we don't have complete details, but as I was checking the list of second-rounders, only the first 6 rookies are offered a fully guaranteed contract. The last player in the second-rounder who has the contract is Elijah Arroyo from Seattle Seahawks, 50th overall, and he is offered 4-year, $8.813 million deal with $6.872 million guaranteed. So I can predict that Harris will be offered around $8 million to $8.5 million with 75% guaranteed money. But this is not the center of discussion because he is actually a need for the Chargers right now. Then, look at the tight ends. We've added Tyler Conklin, a fantastic pickup. And then there's Oronde Gadsden, who's going to be a versatile asset as both a pass catcher and a blocker. Gadsden will round out his blocking game alongside his receiving skills, and I think by season's end, he'll be a complete weapon in this offense. Now, checking out the running backs, Omarion Hampton and Najee Harris, 2 really solid backs. The Chargers put Najee Harris on the NFL list after his eye injury, but as per his agent, he will be available from day 1 in the regular season. Let's see. Anyhow, the offensive line has been bolstered by new additions as well. Overall, Herbert now has everything he needs to succeed. And I almost forgot. There's Will Dissly. He turned out to be far more effective than people expected. Even though some rankings have listed him as a lower-tier starting tight end, he proved to be a valuable contributor. So, yeah, Justin Herbert, I'm putting some pressure on you. You're the face of the offense, and now that the team is stacked with talent, we need you to be the one leading the charge. Next up on my list, another player already on the roster last season but facing a possible position change, Zion Johnson. There's been talk. Will he play left guard or move to center? The Chargers didn't pick up his 5th-year option, and now we're trying him out at center to see what he can do. That could actually be a good move. He's a smart player, well-built and physically capable, but this is a role he hasn't played before. Not in college, not even in high school as far as I know. That position is crucial though, and there's definitely some pressure. If things don't pan out, we've got backup plans. Bradley Bozeman can slide in at center, and we could move Zion back to guard. But ideally, I want to see him lock down the center role long-term. Yes, we passed on his 5th-year option, but that doesn't mean he can't earn an extension by playing well this year. So yeah, some real pressure on Zion Johnson. I've got my fingers crossed that the move to center works out. I truly think he can do it. Once practices start with full pads and helmets, we'll get a better sense of how he's handling the switch. I also expect him to get some reps during preseason games so the coaches can gather plenty of film of him at center. Jim Harbaugh mentioned he expects to have a clear picture of his interior offensive line after about 8 to 10 practices. So, again, Zion, you're in the spotlight. I want to see you thrive in this role because center is one of the most vital positions on the O-line. Having Mekhi Becton to your right could be a massive advantage too. The third name on my list is Tuli Tuipulotu. He played a ton of snaps last year due to Joey Bosa being injured most of the season. Tuli actually led the team in sacks. This year, he's not just a fill-in anymore. He's officially a starter. He's stepping into that full-time second defensive end spot, lined up opposite Khalil Mack. Behind him, we've got Bud Dupree and Kyle Kennard. That means Tuli has to deliver. He needs to be a consistent presence, stopping the run, applying pressure, and getting sacks. This is his opportunity to cement himself as a key figure on this defense. It's his first season as a full-time starter, so we'll see if he's ready to take that next step. I believe he is. He's entering what might be his contract year, and a strong season could lead to an extension and a long-term future with the Chargers. Tuli is one of those core guys Harbaugh really values. I'm rooting for him to ball out, secure a big contract, and lock down the edge position for years to come. I'd love to see him notch double-digit sacks, 10 or more, and even earn a Pro Bowl selection. So, yeah, Tuli's under pressure this year. Now for the last player I'm highlighting, another defender, and someone in a spot that honestly makes me nervous. Ti'ar Tart. I love this guy. I was thrilled when the Dolphins released him because I wanted the Chargers to sign him during the offseason, and we did. He's a tough, relentless player who plays with violent energy and aggression in the trenches, physically imposing, and exactly the kind of guy Harbaugh wants in his system. He's a great fit in Jesse Minter's defense, and I'm glad we not only signed him mid-season, but re-signed him again this year. Still, I'm putting pressure on Tart because he now has to be the leader of a D-line unit that could end up being a weakness. I trust Jesse Minter's coaching. He's great at putting guys in a position to succeed, but veteran leadership is going to be essential up front, and Tart needs to be that anchor. He's 28 years old, 6 feet 2 inches, 304 pounds. A beast. Last season, he posted a strong 76.9 overall grade, ranking 14th among interior linemen despite only logging 349 snaps. This year, his workload could triple. He recorded 16 pressures and 20 tackles, solid production, but now the bar is much higher. We've brought in other defensive linemen, Deshaun Hand, Justin Herbert, and rookies like Jamari Caldwell, who I've said needs to step up and complement Tart. Otito Ogbonnia, Nick Williams, Scott Matlock. There's a mix of guys, but it's unclear who's going to take charge. That's why I'm leaning heavily on Ti'ar Tart to step into that leadership role. I'm excited to see how this D-line unit performs starting with preseason, and especially the Hall of Fame game later this month. So, Tart, you've got the spotlight now, man. Be that leader we all believe you can be. Those are my 4 picks. Of course, there are others you could mention, like Tony Jefferson, who might be fighting for a roster spot on the final 53-man squad. You could also say Junior Colson faces some pressure to produce this season. But again, these are my 4 guys. 2 on offense, 2 on defense, who I think are under the most pressure for 2025. Now, it's your turn. Drop your thoughts in the comments.